So our topic of today's discussion is email writing, and we'll be talking about everything about email writing. So let me share the screen with you. It's a very simple and easy topic. Uh, so let me share the screen. Alright, so basically, email is electronic mail. So why we use email? So we do use email to exchange messages, to communicate, all right, with different people, different organizations, in different capacities. So basically, email or electronic mail is used for communication, to send and receive messages and to communicate. Okay, what is the importance of email? Why we use email, and why do we study email writing? So basically, uh, first of all, it has become a predominant means of routine correspondence. Now, most of the time, uh, we use emails to communicate, whether you are working in office or in any capacity or in any organization, you send and receive email. So now it has become a predominant means of routine correspondence. Correspondence means communication. So many companies are geared to operate with email. So email cultures have developed. So they most of the offices or organizations, they tend to use email for their communication. Even if they want to send a letter or a memo, they just send it through email. Okay, the first important point for that, we use email writing, that is time. It saves your time. The primary driving force behind emails promises is time. All right, it saves your time. Email is quick and be sent to many. For example, uh, you can send an email at a time to hundreds of people, thousands of people. And you just need a simple email ID, and you can send it at in anywhere within seconds. All right. And whereas postal letter might take several days to deliver. And let's if you want to send a letter to any person via post office, so it will take, first you have to send that letter to post office, then there will be a person who will take your letter to that city, and then he will deliver to that person. So it will take several days to deliver your letter, and then you will receive your answer or feedback on that letter. So overall, it is time consuming process, time taking process if you post a letter. But as far as email is concerned, you just send that email, and within minutes you can receive the feedback or answer of that email, or your communication. That's why we use email, because it is more flexible in time. It takes less time for to deliver communication or communicate. Email message can be delivered within seconds. So the first important point about email is that it saves your time. Second is convenience. So it is very convenient. You don't need any a paper or any you can say any uh, yes, you don't need any uh, uh, I mean paper or any stuff like that to send your email. You just need a wireless it's just a wireless communication. You send your email from notebook, laptop, or even mobile phone. So you just need to have a laptop or a mobile phone to send it. And you have digital Um so you can put that mobile into your pocket, so you can take it anywhere. You can send an email anywhere at any time. So there's no restriction on you that you can send an email in the evening or in the midnight or early in the morning. So there's no such restriction. So you can send your email at any time, anywhere. So that's why we call email is convenient. Next is internal external. So we can send or communicate internally to core workers and externally to customers and vendors. So email is very convenient if we want to communicate internally or externally. Internally, internally means if you want to communicate within an organization, so we can use email. And if we want to communicate or send letters or correspondence or memos to, or sorry, to any correspondence or proposals to outside organizations, so we can use that. We can send that through uh, email. All right, so it is applicable for both internally and externally. All right, cost. So it is cost effective. It is paper free. You don't need any paper. Uh, uh, when you want to send an email, so the different companies who are providing that facility, they provide you virtual paper, so you don't need any paper. So you can you don't pay any shipping fee. It is free, and it's just a documentation you can send from one person to another without any charge. So that's why it is cost effective. And you can send email, uh, let's say in from Pakistan to England or any other country in the world without any cost. So now imagine if you want to send a letter, or if you want to do a courier to, let's say, America. So you have to pay thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars to send your package or your letter to America, all right, because you have to pay charges of the courier companies. But as far as email is concerned, you just send that email without any charge. Documentation. So you don't need to keep a record of your communication, because it remains in your inbox, or that will remain for, I mean, there is no expiry date of your email. You can have your email for your whole life. You can save them. You can get a PDF of that. You can print out those emails. So uh, and when there's another facility with the email, that whenever you send or receive email, so they will remain in your inbox. And if the same person is communicating with you, so there will be a dialogue, or that will remain in your single email. So there will be new dialogues in the same email, and you can easily find out who sent you email, and when did they send you the email, and what they communicated. So everything will be there. So you don't need to have a documentation problem. Uh, but remember now, if you do communication, traditional communication, let's say letter writing or something like that. So whenever you receive a memo or letter, so first of all, you have to print out a copy of it, and then you have to maintain a record, and sometimes the records uh, turns into a whole office, into a whole room where you have to put your record. So the record become hundreds of files. But in the case of email writing, you do not need any office or room to save your documents. So because email providing the websites, they provides you paper free documentation, all right, in the browser with whatever application you are using. So that's why documentation is very easy as far as email writing is concerned. That's another importance of email writing. That's why we tend to use email, and we prefer using email. rather than using other uh, mediums. Summary. So if we want to communicate with individuals or with a group of people, we can communicate email with through email. So we can communicate with our consumers, with our customers, and we send and receive email on a daily basis, or we can send through email to future customers. It's fast, cheap, and easy to use. All right. So these were some of the important factors on the basis of those we use email and we prefer email writing. Now there's some reasons to use it. For example, their emails are flexible and can be used for given instructions. So you can use email for multiple purposes. You can provide information, you can communicate rules, you can communicate procedures. All right, you can send a proposal through email. So you can do a multiple task or multiple things through email. So okay, now there are different purposes of writing email. For example, you want to give some directions or directives, orders to your company or your supervisors or your colleagues or your subordinates. So you can send those directives through email. You can send cover letters or transmittals. You can provide information um, about some document, some main document. You can use email for documentation, for confirmation. For example, we uh, get the detail later on. We can use email for confirmation. We want to explore procedures. We can recommend something, and we feasibility, status, inquiry. So everything. So these purposes are met with email writing. Okay, directives. Directives means uh, you want to give some orders or instructions to your company, to your subordinates. So you write those directives in an email and you send that email to relevant people. That's so easy. So it specially state how you expect the reader to proceed in order to accomplish the task. You want your reader to accomplish certain tasks in a certain way. So you write those directions or directives or orders, and you just send an email to your boss or your subordinates or colleagues or supervisors. So it's that easy. So cover transmittal. Cover means, for example, you have attached a document. You want to send a main document to your customer or your uh, subordinate, and you provide a summary uh, in the email, that okay, what is that document and what it contains, and how would you go about it. So you provide a summary about that document. That's okay, this document contains information regarding our proposal. So just look at it. At 13, it contain the volume of this document is 13 pages. So you need to read it, and then you come to know, okay, what is this proposal. So you just provide a summary of that document. uh, so that is cover or transmittal. So that's for that purpose we can use email. Then comes documentation. For example, uh, expenses, incidents, problems encountered, study findings, and relocation of staff. So everything, when you do write these emails, so it will remain in your inbox, and it will remain in your inbox in the form of documentation. All right. So, for example, your boss has asked you to provide expenses of the month of November or September. What are different expenses? So you will make a report on that expenses, and then you send that report to your boss. So now it has become a document. All right. And if you want to relocate your staff or do such kind of thing, so whenever you write or communicate, so it will remain in your inbox, and it will be remain in your inbox in a documentation form. Confirmation, for example, there's a going to a meeting, and you confirm the date and time and location of that meeting, where the meeting is going to be held, and what will be the topic for discussion. You inform your audience, and then they confirm through email that okay, we have got your email and we'll be there. We have received the information, so we will be there, whatever time and location you have sent them. Okay, so they basically confirm that whether they are going to participate in your meeting or not. Okay, then comes the procedures. For example, how to set up an account, or how to research a company, all right, how to solve a problem. So different procedures. For example, you have bought a product or gadget from a company online, and you don't know how to use it or operate your gadget. So they will send you an email, and where the procedures of that gadget will be displayed or written. So all you have to do is just read out it, and then follow the instructions, and then you will operate successfully whatever you want to operate. Recommendations. So recommendation is provide reasons to purchase new equipment, hire someone, build new contract with providers, revise current practices. For all that things, for example, your boss write an email to you, okay, we want to hire or extend an office, so we need your recommendations, what we do. So you provide them through email, okay, these are my recommendations for hiring this staff. So basically you are using medium of email. Feasibility means to uh, the status of something before doing something, possibilities of workplaces, practices, procedure, location, staffing, or equipment. So uh, that information can also be communicated through email. Status, for example, daily status, weekly status, monthly status, yearly. So where your department or company is now at the moment, so that's the status. So you can provide that status report to your boss, uh, and you can use email for that purpose. Inquiry, if somebody asks you something, for example, you're running a company and you are selling us some specific product, and somebody sends you an email, okay, we I need that kind of information regarding your product. So you will, after reading that inquiry, you will send the response. So you are using that while using the medium of email. Okay, then comes techniques for writing effective email. First of all, recognize your audience. That is the most important question. The first thing we need to cater, we need to understand, that is getting the understanding uh, of our audience. That's very important. All right, so according our audience will decide how we approach our uh, resume, or sorry, how we approach our writing as far as email is concerned. You can send an email to your employer, supervisor, colleagues. It's obvious your audience can be high tech audience, low tech. We have talked about it a multiple times, so we don't go into detail at the moment. So your audience can be international or national, or they might belong to different language background as well. So you need to consider all these factors before writing an email. So remember, acronyms, abbreviations are universal, so elaborate them. We have talked about the states, time measurement, monetary figures vary from country to country. For example, while you are writing, you will writing, let's say, 40,000 pound, or $40,000 or 40,000 rupees. So you need to figure out that uh, whi- which country are you sending that information, or whether 40,000 rupees, you're talking about 40,000 rupees or dollars or pounds, whatever. All right, so you should be considerate about these things. So dates, we have talked about dates, that there are different formats in America or in England, so they use date differently. Time, for example, now it's 11:30 a.m. in Pakistan, but that would be different time in America or England. So if you want to engage some person, somebody in a meeting, so you need to focus on uh, what is the time difference, because we are living in a different time zones measurement. So all these things should be considered before uh, writing the email. Recognize the background uh, of your reader or the receiver. Identify yourself, create a signature file. All right, so you introduce yourself in a proper way for that because you, if you send an email and your email is ambiguous and nobody knows you who you are, so people will consider it a junk email and they will won't respond to your email. So inform try to write a proper name, or if you are representing a company, so write the company name, or your email ID must be professional sounding, that so that your reader shouldn't avoid your email. Providing a subjective or effective subject line. Remember, we have talked about in memo writing that there should be a topic and focus in your subject line. So there will be a complete sense. It must emerge a complete sense what you are going to talk about in the email, or be professional. And when you add an effective subject line, and there shouldn't be one word. It must be a phrase when you write a subject line. Keep your email message brief, um, simple, and without complex language, without using complex sentences. So your message should be brief, keep it short and simple. All right, or limit your message to the top screen of the email. All right, so you don't need another page, and don't use another page for your email. Try to stick to the one page or that you are looking at, and write your message only on that page. Organize your email. Okay, so it's simple that there should be introduction, discussion, and concluding paragraph. Mention what are you writing and why are you writing. Tell the readers what is next and when a follow-up is required. Okay, provide each and every detail. All right, so then comes use highlighting techniques sparingly. Sparingly mean uh, don't use uh, these techniques excessively. All right, avoid using these techniques sparingly. बहुत कम. All right, so avoid overuse of boldface, italics, underlining, computer generated bullets, font color highlighting. So avoid using these techniques in email writing. All right, so don't do boldface, italicize or underlining. बुलेट्स का इस्तेमाल ना करें, फॉन्ट कलर हाईलाइटिंग टेक्निक्स से भी अवॉइड करें. प्रूफ रीड योर email messages. All right, so okay, proofread your email message. So before pressing the send button, first of all, revise your email. What you have written, is there any mistake? Proofread your document. So that will undermine, if your email contains errors, so it will undermine your professionalism, challenge your company credibility. So recheck your facts, dates, addresses, figures, numerical information again. Check grammar and spelling errors before sending your email. So you can make hard copies of your for future reference as well. And if you don't make any hard copies for future reference, it will remain in your inbox, so in the form of documentation. So you don't need to worry about hard copies or uh, saving those documents in a hard copy for future references, because it will remain in your inbox. Then there's some practice and etiquette, some principles or ethics while sending or receiving emails. The first of all is be courteous. All right, be polite, be professional. All right, don't send angry emails. Don't avoid angry emails. Don't send angry emails, and avoid abusive language in your emails. All right, so be professional, be courteous. So that's the practice etiquette. That's the practice principles or rules when you send or receive an email. So be courteous, be polite, be professional. Don't send angry emails. Don't use abusive language. All right. So once you have written your email, so before sending your email, you just need to consider these points, these checklists. First of all, does the email use the correct address? Remember, if you are sending a very professional sounding email to wrong address, so it will give you no benefits. So you need to use the correct address of the receiver. Have you identified yourself? Provide a signature line. So provide a signature line, provide a clear cut who you are. All right. So what company do you represent? So this kind of information should be clearly mentioned in your email. Did you provide an effective subject line? Include a topic and focus. So remember, as we have discussed earlier, there should be a topic and focus in the subject line. So do consider whether you have written your subject line effectively or not. Have you effectively organized your email? Is your email organized? All right. Have you mentioned opening sentences? Have you discussed? Have you concluded your point of view? All right. Your email, and have you mentioned your audience that what do you do next? Okay, what to do next? So have you used highlighting techniques sparingly? So avoid boldface, italics, color, or underlining. So you can use asterisks for bullets, numbers, and double spacing for us for access. So you need to avoid these kind of things. Did you practice netiquette after writing an email? Look at the language of your email, that you should be polite, courteous, and professional. Don't flame, don't angry. All right, don't use angry emails. Okay, don't overuse text disease. Okay, what is text disease? ये आपने खुद बताना मुझे कि ये क्या है. 7 point is email concise. All right. So you don't need to fill up uh, uh, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of the email. Keep your email simple and short. Okay. Okay. If you are attaching some kind of attachment, so you need to understand or provide information of that attachment, that whether it's a PPT, PDF, RTF, or Word file. What is it? Avoid using large files, zip files. Okay. And then have you recognized your audience? Have you considered the multiculturalism or gender specific issues um, of the people? So before sending, you need to understand your audience. Then comes avoid grammatical errors. Recheck your email and find out and correct and rectify your grammatical errors. So that is the checklist. So before um, sending your email, you just need to consider these points and check your email against these points. And if you haven't included, and if you have missed any point, you need to add that point in your email. All right. So here is an example of email writing is given. So if you can look at to CC, all right, और CC का आपको पता है कि carbon copy. If you want to send a person, if you want to send a copy of your email to a person or your boss, so you just CC. So when that file or email is received by these people, so that email will also be sent to the person whom you are have CC. Okay. And then subject line. Look at the subject line. It's not a one word. It's a complete in a phrase form. Topic and focus is mentioned. Now here, that is in the introductory part. That is discussion. All right. At the end, he has concluded and saying thank you for your participation, and then he has mentioned his address and everything. All right. So that's the sample of the email. So that's all about email writing today, we have talked about why, what are different reasons that we use, what is the importance of email writing, what are the reasons that we tend to use email writing. We use how to write an effective email. We talked about different techniques, and then we also discuss a checklist of email writing, and then we have um, looked at the sample of the email. So that's all about email writing. If you have any question about email writing, you can just ask me. Raise your hand, and then I allow you to ask the question. Thank you.